Healthy relationships are earned, not given, right? So today we're talking about what relationships look like to you, right? And what they look like to me and everyone else, and how the effort of what those relationships display must yield a certain return, right? So many times if we're looking at relationships with our loved ones, family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, there's a certain amount of effort that must go into that relationship for that relationship to really produce the fruit that you want it to bear. We're talking about monogamous relationships. We're talking about polyamory relationships. We're talking about all type of different relationships that really going to push you to expand your outlook and your thought process on what a healthy relationships look like to you, right? Many times we look at relationships as one-on-one, but today we got somebody on the show that has 3 girlfriends. That's right, that's 3. And so we're talking about what really poly versus monogamous relationships look like and how those relationships can shift your perspective on what healthy relationships really look like. So we hope you like, share, and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy today's show.
For my brothers never had an ear to hear them. These the bricks for our sisters help us build it. If I could be a black fly on the wall, I can hear and see it all and have the mind of a god. Black, 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 black. Fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly. Black, black, black.
Welcome to another episode of Black Fly on the Wall. It's your boy Lide. I am your host. We're here with another dope topic entitled Healthy Relationships Are Earned, Not Given. All right. I got some dope people with me. Of course, I got my co-host Pierre Bless. To my far left, Salim, introduce yourself.
Man, appreciate y'all having me on here. Salim �𝐿𝐴𝐺, Charlotte native, also owner, operator, and host of Truly Healthy podcast. So thank y'all so much for having me on here.
Fellow podcaster up here.
Absolutely.
To my right, introduce yourself, Cam.
And Mr. Rose, man, just your normal neighborhood tattoo guy, man.
You thought about that. You put that together.
You got warmed up for the pod. You get warmed up for your own.
That was good.
That's your neighborhood friendly pod. The tattoo artist, man. Man, so this topic here is very interesting because many times in relationships we are focused on, how relationships look, how healthy they are, but do we have the realization and the understanding that you must put in work for those relationships to be healthy, right? So we all have been in relationships, no matter what, whether that is girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wives, relationships with your parents, relationships with your grandparents, with your kids, whatever. All those relationships require some type of work to get put in. And let's talk about what that work looks like. So Cam, I was gonna start with you. What do you think some misconceptions are in regards to relationships? Right. Just general misconceptions to when somebody sees a relationship, what that looks like.
There's multiple. You have the 50-50 rule, where people absolutely believe it's either you have to be 50-50 with your partner and everything should always be even and everything should always be fair. You have the we'll always be happy in this relationship rule. That's a common misconception. A relationship is not always happy and it shouldn't be held to those standards. Even if you think about a relationship, you ever seen the Drewski thing?
Right.
Like, she shouldn't be with that person.
Right.
Like, that's a
He's a Ruby Rose.
Yeah, it was Ruby Rose. It's a real thing. It's like, oh, she looks too pretty for that person. Like, how do you gauge those dynamics? Like, you got some more kind of, like, guys' height.
Oh yeah,
they
want to see 6'2".
Yeah,
it's all dark and handsome.
Yeah, it's a standard of height that you got to be to get on this ride. Like,
right.
Tried to plug himself.
That's it's just there you go.
It is real though.
They're throwing it out there. This one is gonna kill us. You have to make more money than me to be with me.
Yeah.
That one is.
Yeah.
It's no, we work together to build each other. Those are some of the ones that
Salim.
He hit them all.
Those are some deep ones, man.
Yeah,
It's a status thing for sure. I like status is one, and I feel like women don't admit this, but it's like, a dude will pick a woman at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, and build her up, make her a queen. But a woman will not pick a dude at McDonald's and build him up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna look that way. Top of that majority of the time.
Yeah, I think those, we have to ask ourselves, like, where are we getting these particular, like, misconceptions about love, relationships, and, like, those different relationships that we encounter over time. Like, many times we're getting these misconceptions from media of some sort, whether it's a fairy tale Disney movie, or whether it's something you see on Twitter, whatever it may be. It's like that right there becomes our tunnel or funnel of education versus what we're being taught in our households to be law.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, we take things and concepts and things like that off of the internet and make them law in our life versus the things that we're taught by our parents and grandparents and the things that we see. So I want to start with that, Salim. Like, what are some things, like, with you being married, what are some things that you saw from your parents, grandparents, family members, people in your community that made you establish foundational principles and laws in your life and in your relationships versus things that you see in mass media?
Yeah. Honestly, I had to learn those things on my own. My parents were together until I was freshman, sophomore in college.
Okay.
But they were just roommates. You know what I'm saying? So me and my brother Omar, we kind of grew in that type of household where it's like, mom and dad really don't kind of rock with each other.
Right.
But you can kind of tell the consistencies here, like, hey, we just gonna stay together because we got these kids. And I mean, my father was the type of like, I'm gonna be in my kid's life. And then my mom was, super, my mom was the best mom ever. Like, she just did everything she had to do. So it was kind of weird. I had a 2-parent household, but at the same time, mom was a single mom. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that dynamic. And then also, as far as grandparents wise, both of my on my mom's side, my grandfather died at such an early age. Like, when I was young, I think I was maybe like 5 years old when he died. So I always saw grandma by herself, right? Which eventually I understand with her, all that kind of thing.
Right.
And then on my dad's side, my grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, my dad's mother, she died a year before I was even born. So I seen my grandmother on my mom's side single and my grandfather single until he got remarried or whatnot like that. So I had to build this, relationship thing in my own head.
Right.
I knew what I didn't want to do.
Right.
And I was like, when I finally met Jasmine, I was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And this is my thought process of why. But of course, naturally, because I didn't have a real, example.
Right. Well, it's not like you went into like a school of relationships by one person. Right. You didn't.
In my environment, everybody, I was the oddball because my dad actually lived where I stayed. You know what I'm saying? At the time.
That's true.
I was the oddball. Right. So it was like one of those things.
So both your parents up together. Oh, that's dope.
What? Yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, so it was that type of thing. And then actually having a sibling, and me and my sibling had the same mom, same dad. That's a whole nother dynamic too.
Right.
So of course, naturally, because I didn't have that type of a role model or whatever like that, or that type of environment, me and Jazz, we pay the cost because I'm learning as she's learning as well, right? So it's like trial and error or not. But honestly, I think that's why it makes us so much closer because we built this thing together.
Right.
I like the sense of that it wasn't like they were separated together, but you had a sense of like family foundation structure kind of.
Facts.
I like that. And I can see that in you too.
Yeah.
Because you still move like that because you are, Salim, like he's a family man.
Oh,
and so doing it look like you're doing a good job. You know what I'm saying?
So I just knew how I felt as a child. My father was a civil rights activist, also a pastor. He doing the work for the community, so he was gone a lot. I needed pops. You know what I'm saying? Because me and my brother grew up on the east side. They don't pay you to be no an activist, bro.
Right.
They don't get you don't get no money from that.
Right.
So we stayed in certain environments, bro. It was just like, I needed him in certain spaces. So now me being a father, that's why I am. Everybody know. If you see me, if I could have brought them today, they would have been there. It was just a little early when we shoot. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, bro, my kids go everywhere with me. My wife go everywhere with me because I want to make sure that if you know me, you know my unit's there. So it's like that type of thing. So I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. You understand like that the foundation, the unit
have to have
unit got to be tight.
Yeah,
absolutely. Cam, what does it look like to you to earn in a relationship?
When you say, all right.
So when you're working to make sure that relationship is healthy, sustainable, and fit for both of you all, what does it look like on a daily basis that you're working towards making sure that that relationship is healthy? Any relationship in your...
I about to say, and to the world, I am polyamorous.
Explain to them what that means for you.
I have more than one partner that I'm with. In a sense, like you said, it's a community. And when people, I remember when I first kind of let it be known to the world that everyone thought it was just like, oh man, this is cool. Like you got, more than one girlfriend. And like, this is amazing for you.
Right.
And to this day, I break it down to fellas and say, hey, this might not be what you want. This ain't all as fun as...
Oh, it never is. Nothing is.
Because it really, it's like, because this is how it is.
Women saw males.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
things. Yeah, it's a
one
lot,
is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of these emotions that you have to cater to. It's a lot of responsibility. And it's not just, oh yeah, you just go home and everything is fun. You go home and one woman is mad. It's odds. You might go upstairs and the other one might be mad too. So you kind of got to learn how to maneuver through that.
You battling 2 period cycles?
No, I'm battling 3.
Oh, you got 3. I'm just like,
3.
You got 3 women.
Yes, I have 3.
Okay.
I have 3. I have 3.
Y'all live together?
We did. 2 stay with me now, and 1 has her own apartment.
Okay.
Hey, babe. We bump heads sometimes. But that's kind of like what we were talking about, understanding your relationship and understanding, like, when you were talking, I was listening to it because your parents learned how to endure and live with each other for those amount of years, no matter how they felt, because they knew what was important. End goal.
For sure.
And the end goal was to make sure that our kids have the best and we're together for it.
Right.
So would you say that there was anything in your upbringing, or what really opened you up to being open to being in a poly relationship? And was there anything in your upbringing that suggested like that would be a good idea for you?
I couldn't say my upbringing. I was raised by my mother. I had a single mother. I moved down to the country with my grandparents and my mother. My grandparents, they've been together for forever. And I've learned things from their relationship, like I said, the ability to endure everything that they have going on. And the fact that they just were together for so long. Like my grandparents have been together for so long.
Is there a such thing as cheating in your relationship?
There is. There's a lot of ways to cheat.
You can only deal with those 3.
Yes. So,
okay.
Hold on. Let finish the story. We all excited, bro. I'm like, yo, I need to know. Save the questions. I know it's very interesting. And we ain't gonna talk about Paulie the entire episode. We're gonna get to it.
We had to get him.
He just had it right then and there. He was like, bro, hold on.
That's deep.
He answered.
So that's solid.
So yeah, I watched my grandparents stay together for so long, and it made me. I got into my situation because I feel like I have the ability to think outside. Like I don't think like in the box. I don't think. I'm an artist, so therefore I don't think the same as everyone else. I don't think the same as,
So that's what really allowed you to magnetize towards like what people will identify as like an ulterior like relationships.
Yeah, or what's normal.
Right.
Because think about it.
Right.
Kind of like what you said with how we're actually programmed with social media and things like that.
Right.
If you look back at the cartoons and stuff that we used to watch, husband and wife.
Mm-hmm. Mass media.
Condition.
Yeah, conditioning.
Rocket Boys, all that stuff.
Yes, Rocket Boys.
Like all of those cartoons. But look at when like the LGBTQ and stuff started to come about, and they're starting to change the media. Now they'll put man and man, woman and woman in a movie, in a cartoon, and they're starting to switch.
Yeah.
It's what's acceptable in the moment and what is pushed in the moment.
Right.
If we have to accept this, we're going to push it and we're going to make it normal.
Right.
So when it becomes to the point, now you see more, you literally see more poly couples than you probably ever have.
Mhm.
But it's going to become a point of time that just like when they wanted to say, we want to get married the same way as everyone else want to get married. It's going to become a point of time that poly people are going to say, we want to be married the same way that everyone else. Then it's going to take someone to have to push that agenda.
Yeah, politically.
Yeah. So everything is what we see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what we see and what we're actually programmed to see. Who are we kind of like? For me, it was more so like, who are we to kind of make what's normal and what's not normal? What's regular and what's not regular?
This really was good for you.
It's what makes you happy at the end of the day. Like there are certain things in the world that we've been like, okay, we all know that's wrong. Like we all know that's wrong. But for me, it was more so being knowledgeable and then looking back at, I went and looked at cultures, and I looked back at our culture before we were slaves, just seeing movies and watching like African cultures and seeing like those, a lot of Africans had multiple wives.
Right. It still goes on today.
Still to this day. It's a normal thing. And a lot of times it was more so the point of if you had the money, like more money that you had, the more wives you
could have.
It was it was a point, like everything was a point in time. It was a point in time that men actually traded their daughters off in order to obtain wealth.
Mm-hmm.
It was a point in time that marriages were constructed.
Yeah.
That's just right.
Well, we have from one military general over here to another king or over here. Yeah, it was a strategic partnership.
So all of those things were a thing that were normal or
acceptable at that time. Right.
And then it switched
Right.
to something that's okay, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, it was more so like, who is the world to tell me who I can love and how many people I can love in that moment? Or like, it was also deep down in me, it was something that I couldn't escape myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to hate when I heard, like if I was in a relationship and like the girl I was in a relationship was like, well, if you love her, you can't possibly love her. And it's like, how are you to tell me how I feel in my heart? Like, how do you discredit someone's actions, emotions, and the way that they carry themselves when it comes to you just by that simple means? When in the beginning of relationships, when we first meet a person,
You gotta take.
we don't care who they're talking to. We don't care if they're dating someone. We go along with it. Mm-hmm. We roll it.
It's always that phase.
Yeah, we all do the whole phase that
You trying to reach to the top.
we don't care. We don't ask. Like until we get to that point, and then somebody says in this, so when you cutting everybody else loose, and now you sitting there like, wait, and that can be make or break for some people because some people can be like, well, I'm feeling you, but I've known this person for 6-7 months. To tell that person, oh yeah, I don't want to be with you because I just met this person 1 month ago and we've been having a great time. Like we've been going on dates and this, that, and the third. Like I really like her. So now you're in a situation because you end up with that person for that 1 month. And that person for 6 months was really good for you. Even though y'all had y'all ups and downs like we talked about. And then that person for 1 month. We seen it, man. When you move in with a person, it can change.
Right.
Yeah.
But and also I think in a lot of situations, I'm getting ahead of myself, but in a lot of situations we put that pressure on ourselves. We put that pressure on ourselves to rely upon one person so much. Like we put all of our burden when we come home, we put our stress on that person, we put our burdens on that person, we put everything that we're feeling. And especially as being Black men, everything that we're going on in the world outside, we bring it home to our wife.
Already.
So it's already hard. So in my home, My home is different. It's dispersed. It's separated. I have my kids. We have actual kids together, and it's crazy because now that I'm deeper into it, like when people see it, they first thought, okay, this is a fun thing. Like, could even go in this fun. Now when people started seeing kids were being made, and
you have a kid, you can have a child by one woman over here, and then they live in the same house as their sibling over here from a different one.
yeah.
Right.
So, and when they started to see that, that's when people were like, oh, this is for real. Yeah, this is serious. This is a real thing. Like, and due to that, like now, like I said, those energies are dispersed. Like if I feel some type of way about something, I don't have to just get one person's point of view.
Right. You can gain kind of like multiple.
Yeah. And if I'm wrong, I can get told I'm wrong. Like if I'm not listening, if me and one of my girlfriends are having an argument, I can go over here and I can get a deeper insight to what's going on.
That is true.
Like I can literally,
And not for the homies at the gym.
yeah, that's like not for my boy. Like literally, I literally had a moment of them sitting there saying, "Well, you do that." And that's different than your homeboy saying you do that, because your homeboy said, "Yeah, bro, you don't stay at my house. Like, you ain't listen to me, man." Like, but if your girl sit there and says, "You do that to me, and you make me feel that type of way," so now you have to go upstairs and reevaluate yourself.
Thought of it that way.
Yeah,
I never thought
That's unique.
That's actually unique.
It's a community instead of
Community based.
and that's the difference. It's like it's not something that, like I said, is like very easy to do. It's really hard, actually, to be honest with you. I tell all my friends, hey.
Still,
Are you happy? Are you happy with your decision to start that life?
I am completely happy because I feel as if, for me, I'm not speaking for anyone else. For me now, I'm true to myself. I'm true to myself. And
There you go.
And it's messed up to say, I'm true to myself, and I can actually wake up every day and know actually my purpose. Like knowing, okay, I'm taking care of my family and things like that. Know that we all may not be happy in the house today, but long as we have each other, if one fall, we got some more legs to help carry, you know.
Hey, I ain't never heard him this quiet, boy. He is intrigued.
Look at this. He got some questions.
He wants us to be a one-on-one.
Quick, I'm talking about break this down to me, brother.
Last poly question, just so that we can phase into the next part.
Okay.
What was your family's reaction whenever they found out that you had? Because you're from the country.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah, you know.
That you got, now your uncle's probably was like, boy.
Yeah.
Now the women in your family probably was like, boy, what you doing?
So it's funny. Like you said, all those reactions were the same. My family, like, it's like they knew. They already knew.
Okay.
But like my family is known for being those guys.
Okay.
But when I said it, it was like, oh, cool. My mama, a little bit different.
Right.
My mama, and it wasn't even I thought my mama was gonna be like, oh, I'm upset with you. My mama was like, now you know women, they emotions now. You put all of them. She talking about, so you put all those cats in one house.
Yeah.
Like you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
She's just more afraid of how the reactions of each woman would be when their emotions and this, that, and that, until she met the women. Now, mind you, like, I remember when I first got into it, everyone thought like these are highly educated women. They all went to college. They all graduated from college.
Yes.
Like they all are in the field. They have normal jobs. One of them makes 6 figures. One of them make, in that mid range. Like they're well established. Like it wasn't, and even like the people that I was actually dating before then, or like before it was 4 of us at one point in time. Like, well, it was 4 women at one point in time. So that was, they were all educated women. But my parents was cool. Well, my mom was cool about it after she met them. My grandparents are still cool. Like, I think my grandparents accepted it regardless. Like, my family actually accepted me. Now, when their parents found out, that was a little bit different because, like,
They baby girl is now
Yeah, that's their baby girl.
sharing them.
Yeah, so
in their perspective.
in their head, it was like they didn't know if their child was being manipulated into a situation that they didn't want to be in. So therefore, you kind of got like a sense of hostility at the beginning. And then when you finally meet the man, or you're around the man and you figure out and you see your daughters in that situation, then you get a different objective about it. Like, I remember my daughter's mom, when she found out, like, she had some things to say that we can't say up here. She had some things to say. And it kind of hurt me because in a sense, like, and her dad, he felt the type of way. And it kind of bothered me because her dad was like the closest thing that I've had to a father.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So, and it kind of made me kind of revert back to myself. Like, I used to revert back from like older men, like being cool or close to older men because of my father issues. So when it happened, I just reverted back to that stage. Like, I don't really care what nobody say or nobody feel about, you know what I'm saying? But then it came to the point that he became more open and they saw their daughter happiness. Mind you, there's multiple stages, there's different types of poly relationships. Two of my girlfriends actually date each other.
Okay.
And one of them she's singly dated to me. She's polymonogamous. There's different forms and it's real deep. You can kind of go into it and study it on your own, but there's different forms.
So the two women that date each other also date you?
Yes, the two that date each other also date me.
And then one that just dates you on?
Yeah, she just date me on it. But we all, if you see it, it's all together. Like, if one is watching the daughter, she's looking at the daughter like it's her daughter. If she goes to buy something, do anybody need anything at the house? Is everything straight? Same phone line, all that. Everything is cohesive.
They got a group chat?
Huh?
They got a group chat?
Yeah, something. They got everybody got one without me in it. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that one whatsoever. That's like that one is my least favorite group chat. Like, when a conversation comes up and they feel like, haha, you remember we were talking? Wait,
I wasn't in there.
I ain't see that, man.
You stole it and trying to find it.
She was like, I sent it to you in the group chat. I'd be like,
No, you didn't.
no, you didn't.
It was the wrong
Oh, it's our group chat. No, I don't like that. Y'all gotta get rid of that. I don't know what's going on in that one.
No, that's good though, man. It's good to hear like a diverse perspective because I feel like in our community many times the perspectives are very singular and like very similar too.
Yeah.
Like as a similar, you hear somebody talk about their relationship, you kind of know which way it's going, but it's good to have your perspective on like a very diverse relationship is working for you. Man, there's so many people out there that's probably thinking like they're interested in something like that, but again, they're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid of their religious backgrounds and how that may look, or being able to answer to their parents and grandmothers and all that stuff. So it's good to hear that.
You gotta live your life, man.
Yeah, you got to live your life.
He brought up a word that I have a theory on it too. Like you said something about arranged marriages. And I feel like, I used to look at that so crazy. I got some friends who've been in arranged. And I'm like, that may actually be, I'm not saying I like a solution for it. But it's actually a solution because when you get in therapy and those things, couples therapy, one of the first things they teach you when you're sitting face to face with your partner, how was your background? How was your background? These are questions that we do not ask that we should ask outside of being good looking, pretty, what you do. If you know somebody, how they get mad, were you raised by your mom, your dad? Are you good with family? Do you hide? Do you run away? How does your family handle problems? With arranged marriages, like your mama, they'll tell you growing up, be like, nah, don't mess with them over there because they crazy. Their whole family can be crazy. And that's
a real thing.
Off of the last name. She'll be like, what's their last name? What they say?
You can dodge it. It's like that. And I think that arranged marriages work most of the time because of that.
Yeah, because like also too, like they were very strategic. So it'd be like, I'm a farmer and I farm wheat.
Right.
And then Salim is a farmer and he's a goat farmer. We're very, very masters at what we do. Then it's like, he has a son, I have a daughter. I know what kind of man he is and how he ran his household. You know what kind of man I am, how I ran my household. We had kids around the same time. And it's kind of like, you respect me, blood, everything. We know exactly how it would be. Our kids get married. It's arranged. Me and Salim then start doing business even deeper. And then the children work for the business. And then now these tycoons or in these type of healthy relationships and community and all these things are fostered. So the main thing, Salim, I was going to ask you is like, when it looks like how you're working in your relationships with whether it's your brother, your wife, your mom, all those different things, like what is something that you do to put in work into your relationships to make those relationships healthy?
In all of them.
You know, it can be you can isolate one or you can tap into something that makes it unique to you.
I think what I do in any relationship is just transparency, right? I'm not a person of components to have hidden agendas. I am not that guy, right? And I think that's healthy in any relationship because I think everybody needs to know what they're signing up for when they're dealing with me. Right? And I need to know what I'm signing up for when I'm dealing with you. Now, of course, as human beings, those things change and, we grow and we move as human beings, but I know at least what is the end goal that you're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? Because I got an end goal. What is the end goal that we're trying to reach? And if those things are agreeable, then cool. Let's make that thing happen. I think especially with my wife, that was the main thing. Of course, when you love somebody and all that kind of stuff and, somebody gives you a totally different perspective, because my wife is a total different person than any other woman I've dated or messed with beforehand. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the time I come into a situation where, honestly, my family kind of like the best family. Like from a financial standpoint, we ain't really ain't no money like that, but or my success is, I have to look at the person that I'm with like, I might have to sign a prenup because I got stuff to lose.
That's what
but then I'm married. I always say that I'm married well because my wife low-key look at me like, hey, cuz. I got that bag over here. Right? Because her father, worked on Wall Street or whatnot. Her mom was like this big time realtor in Baltimore and all that kind of stuff. I mean, even her siblings, bro. Like my one of my brothers right now, he's a coach for the Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? Another one is he's just like a mogul up in New York. He does his thing and it goes on and on. And so I think that's what I do in all relationships, just knowing exactly what I can bring to the table, what can you bring to the table, how can we help each other out? That's why my idea, if I'm being honest, I have a daughter and I have a son. As I'm starting to reach a certain level of success over the years, I'm in different groups. Most of those people in them high rooms I'm in, bro, they literally say, hey, our kids are around the same age. We should not play dates how we do. Like, we should just because we got kids and we just want to see each other. No, they like, let's see how their chemistry is between each other. These kids are like 4 years old.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be honest. First time I seen it, I thought it was weird. And then I started realizing. I asked one of my friends, I'm not gonna name their name, but I asked him like, "Bro, why do y'all kind of do this? Like y'all, you already set it up." He's like, "Bro, I know that pedigree. So when it comes to a certain aspect of everything I worked hard with to build my family and what I'm doing, regardless if it's throwing the football, regardless if it's off my intellectual property, I know also that girl's father did the exact same thing. Her makeup and how they see things in life it's totally different, bro.
So that's an unspoken arrangement.
It's an unspoken arranged marriage, but they do that. I mean, I'm talking about to this day.
Peep the background, man. You know where we at. We're at Grindhouse Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. Black Fly on the Wall's new home, by the way. Make sure you tap in with Grindhouse Studios at grindhousestudios.com. Learn more about their offerings and what they have and what they're bringing to the Charlotte community. And not only Charlotte, but the North Carolina community. So for my creatives in Raleigh, Charlotte, Durham, Fayetteville, wherever, from the West to the East Coast, make sure you tap in with Grindhouse Studios and book your studio time right now and let them know that Black Fly on the Wall sent you. Much love.
I think it's a real thing in everything, though. Like, even if you start to look at athletes, start looking at these marriages and things like that, it's an unspoken rule. Like, even when you pick you do it not knowing that you're doing it, but when you pick your significant other and when you start getting to that point, we start to have these tidbit things. Graduate.
Yep.
Finish. Can you finish the things that you actually put your mind to?
Correct. That's important.
Yeah.
Or can be, depending on who you are.
Here we go.
This way.
Like, how tall are you? Like, what's your family's history medically? Like, we start to think of those things.
Athletic background.
If you're athletic
In our society, that's how it works.
and the worst, probably one of the worst ones, like hair texture or But it's like we look at the smallest of things. Do you got big feet? Do you got little hands? Like,
well, even to get deeper too, like, I mean, nowadays, since we're becoming more conscious of mental health, you have a lot of men asking women and women asking men, do you have past traumas?
Oh, 100%.
Because many times,
Very important.
for real, because many times, if somebody has went through something severe, you may not be in a stage in your life where you want to be their therapist, right? And so many times,
or it reflects on the kids,
or it reflects on your children.
Yeah.
How you bring them? Because I have 2 children, like I said.
Well, if it was an arranged marriage, so and so may know about. So Salim may know about what happened to so and so, and so may know what happened over here.
Already,
and that may
be prepared for.
Or you may say, that may not be a good option right now in this generation. And so I also think too, like love and relationships are multifaceted, right? They're layered. Like who you marry is not always the person who you're still married to 3 months in, 6 months in, a year in. Things change, people progress.
Do you think it's marriage, or do you think it's just who the person is? Do you think marriage changes that? Do you think that title of the marriage?
Yes.
So we talked.
Yes.
It do.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I think the title of marriage changes things because it changes the expectations. This is going to be an example. If you're on a job and you are a director, but if you walk in and they make you a senior vice president and you got promoted, does that now change your perspective on life, your finances, your role? Like that can be simulated directly into what it is like whenever you become a husband or a wife.
And it changes your partner's perspective too on where they put the expectations over. Like, I gave you this crown, wear it.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, and it's too, but it's responsibility. That's what one of my boys, we talk about this all the time. Cause like he grew up, he has like this diverse perspective on marriage, right? He was like, he believes marriage is created by the government to, for taxes and all these other things. I'm like, cause I love hearing about people's like diverse perspectives.
I got a theory on that too.
Yeah, but so like we always had these conversations. I'm like, yo, you're like, but it shouldn't change things. I'm like, it don't matter what it should. I'm telling you that to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing. Like from a director to as senior vice president, your work ethic shouldn't change, but it will because your responsibility now changes with your title and what more to whom much is given, much is required. So as your director role, you may have been able to come in at 9:30 in the morning. You may have been able to take an hour and a half lunch. You may be able to leave and, you may be able to leave right at 5 o'clock every day. Yeah, but when you senior vice president, you're taking calls at home. You're working on the weekends. You're doing this, you're doing that because you have a greater responsibility. And like, that's kind of like the way that I break it down. And you won't really understand until you get married. Yeah. Like that people don't, it's like one of those things you don't understand until you do it. It's the same with your poly relationship. People try to conceptualize it in their mind. They try to read about it. They look at it on YouTube. They looking at tutorials. They doing all these things, but they won't really understand it until they get 3 women in their home. Yeah. Establish a relationship and boundaries and go about it. And that's kind of how I explain to my homies who are not married. It's like, and that's why your uncles used to always tell you, take your time. There's a reason why they say that. Really, because you need to be mentally prepared for the transition.
So this is where I come to now. I feel as if, like I said, it's getting back to a culture thing. Mm-hmm. I feel as if we do things backwards. And when I say I feel as if we do things backwards is we don't get into anything with the intentions of like marriage. Because if you get into,
I agree.
Like, so say it's kind of going back to like
dating with intention.
Yeah, like school wise. When you get into school, like you're supposed to know exactly what your
intention. Right.
So when we do get to that marriage phase, we go, oh, this is for real. Like you really want me to do these things that
you must
saying in these vows.
Right.
Like, oh, the pressure is turned up. So now we are married and you are sitting in the room thinking, like, yo, it's really on me. Like the pressure is really on me, this, that, and the third. And now because we've done things so differently, we've done everything that we were supposed to do prior to marriage, before marriage. Mm-hmm. Like when you get into a marriage, it's like, hey, I already know everything you can really do. Like we stayed together, we done did.
You manage finances together, go on trips.
Exactly.
That's my thing, bro. Like if I had to say 3 things
that'll make somebody prepare for a healthy relationship in a marriage is to live with that person, manage finances together in that relationship, travel together. That is a necessity. And if I had to add one more, y'all need to do something together.
Did you mention live together?
Yes.
Yeah,
that was number one.
Number one. This thing on. With the person.
Like you said, though, like you said, like our culture, a lot of our culture is Christian based.
Yeah, it's found the point. You moving in with that girl. Like,
You're shacking.
You shacking up. What
You're
are you talking
shacking.
about?
Versus, like, when you really think about it, like, it's backwards as I don't know what
Horrible.
to not do it. And that really, for our generation, with the complexities that we have, like, again, our generation is a little bit more detailed when it comes to things like we got businesses on the side. We got networks on the side. We got fringe, it's male and female relationships as far as friends. Yeah. We have a lot of that. We have going back to school. We have all of these different things. And so when you don't really live with somebody and see how they live, see how you all manage your different networks and groups and things like that, and then manage something together, why would you put yourself through that whenever you get married and then move in with that person and then try to figure it out? It's backwards.
And you can't even really get out of it.
It's backwards.
Easiest thing to get into.
It's absolutely.
But it's very hard to get out.
Exactly.
I think that's I think that's the problem that comes apart when it comes to marriage, that people believe they can actually just get out of it. So people get married knowing, oh, I can get out of this if I don't like it. When back then, with our grandparents was, you're married, you locked in, do us part.
Well, you know, both of you all talked about grandparents, and I can attest to that as well. Salim or P, why do you all feel like our grandparents' generation, we always say, oh, my grandparents married 40 years. My grandparents married 50 years, 60 years. I have a patient, he celebrates year 64 with his wife, with 64th wedding anniversary with his wife this year. So it's like,
trying to live the 60.
Yeah, so it's like, why is it so, I'm not going to say easy, but why is it such a culture for our grandparents to stay together? But when we're looking at our parents, they did not get that passed down to them because many of our parents are divorced.
I think the relationship, what is that generation before the baby boomers, whatever that is?
That's the people that are born typically like in the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah, but I don't know what it's called. But by the time they got to the baby boomers, it was a transition of women making more money, women seeing more success, you know what I'm saying? They're helping, they're starting to take on and help the financial load in the home. And they can like we kind of come from it. In our generation, we know a lot of people who is like, my dad wasn't there. My mom just paid for everything. You know what I'm saying? So women were able to do that. So in my opinion, I think money is masculine. So it like kind of helped modernize women, you know, like to what we are today. And it's like, well, I don't need that, man. It kind of helped. It's not the main reason. Yeah. So we seen our grandparents, you know, like they were together, they stuck it out, and they was doing BS too. Because some of our grandparents would have another family on the other side.
I mean, a full family too.
But they would not break up.
Nope.
Yeah. Because they could go back home. That woman could, you know, our grandmother could just stay at home, cook, clean, and take care of the kids. That's all she had to do. Now the next generation, baby boomers, it's like I don't have to do that. I don't have to see her because now
deal with that.
I got a job now.
Right.
I'm willing to work. I got a job now. You're not gonna play me and be across town.
Yeah, money.
And now this generation, it's like money. I got a job. I can pay for me and you. Why do I even need you? I'm not gonna deal with that.
And back in the day too, it was a luxury if your wife worked.
Yeah.
Now it's a necessity.
Yeah.
I can't, like, in my opinion, just miles off. I mean, there's been a point in time where I made 6 figures. She makes well over 6 figures. Everything's smooth. But in my household and the goals that we have, bro, I'm gonna need you to work. I get that. I mean, can I take care of it? Yes, I can. But bro, how long is gonna take us to get these things established? Because you want to sit there and raise the kids. In my opinion, I'm like, bro, let's co-parent. Let's do this thing together because we signed up at the same time. We laid at the same time. We're going to raise the kids at the same time. Right. You going to go work. I'm going to go work. We're going to raise the kids. I'm going to raise the kids. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I could work at a steel mill and pay for my whole family and their college or whatever like that, and have this family on the side and take care of them at the same time. Now, like you just said in the previous, like you have to have a side gig just to pay the light bill.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I think that's the dynamic that has changed too. And because now, like you said, women are in a space where it's like, you just kind of have to be here. And they are, honestly, they kind of forced to do more. Of course, like you said, if you had a job and your job, at first you was just answering the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got to start keying in stuff. You're going to ask for more stuff because your role has increased.
It's crazy,
you know what I'm saying?
and it's crazy that y'all say that because in my household, it's so many different backgrounds.
Oh, no.
So, like, each woman has a different background with her parents. Like, and one you have, and one of my girlfriends, her parents are like, they like love each other to this day. Like, they go to work together. They do runs, just like food runs.
Make lunch together.
Yeah, like they do these types of things, but their pay scale is equal.
Mm-hmm.
Like her dad had he had his leg amputated for diabetes, so you see her working with him, making sure that they're still making money. And then the other girlfriend, you see her mother makes the majority of the money in their relationship. So
That's different
dynamic there. It's a way, and I'm talking about way different dynamic there.
Real.
And the other one, she has a single mom. So each one is a different dynamic, and you see it plays a part in who they are as a person.
Yeah, you see it. You can
Every
see
person.
How they
You can see it.
how they move.
See, for you can see it live in real time. For other men, you would have to date those women over time, accumulate those experiences, and then say, "This I know. This is what I want. This is what I don't."
Well, I can deal with this.
Like ex-girlfriend who had both parents in the household that were pretty, straightforward and cool. That relationship we didn't work out, but it was a lot less stress than maybe the young lady that you dated that was only raised by her father. Maybe she had a different perspective on things. You like, that really don't mesh well with me. I gotta stay away from that. Then you dated somebody else who had like their mom, and you were like, nah. So it's kind of like you get to see it in real time.
You see it real.
And versus us who are in monogamous relationships, we all more so have to see that over time. And so I think
and see it switch.
It's scary seeing it in real time, though.
Yeah, so I can imagine. I was just about to say, if I could, just this tad bit too, though, like also seeing that switch. When me and my wife got together, she was working a little part-time job, like type vibe, you know what I'm saying? And this was sitting at his height. I'm making bread. You know what I'm saying? So it was, our dynamic in the household was pretty much different. I'll be honest with you. If I made a decision, it was kind of just, it was law. Because what else could you say from a money standpoint? Exactly. And that's what people don't want to talk about that, but that's a real thing.
Money is power.
Bro, if I make the most money,
you have the most.
I kind of got the most say so in certain aspects. Now, I'm not that type of person. I'm not just like run my house like the monarchy. Like I'm not like that. I always care. Yeah, I care about everybody's opinion, and But at the same time, that is true though. If I'm making all of this bread and you want to go buy a house, you got house money. Although like your mama, like you got McDonald's money. It's like kind of that type of thing. But then that's our first beginning of our structure.
Yeah.
I help my wife build and learn her passion in eyebrows where she makes a lot more money now. And then ascend folded. Like it went away. So I went from having all these different means of income and all that. The power dynamic shifted in my house. I'm not used to this. Right? My wife literally is taking care of the household at this point because I have no money coming in because I got blindsided. I had, in savings and stuff like that. But let's be real, like constantly coming in, wasn't coming in. Yeah. I also started to see a shift in her demeanor when it came to me. That's a real thing.
Money is masculine.
Money is masculine on the low. People don't want to talk about that, but that's a real. And me and her had real conflicts, bro, because I'm like, it was conversation like
you were dealing with your own mental health, regards of like making this money, being in this role in your relationship and in your household, to now like. You almost kind of like you losing control of your household.
Straight up. Like that's how I really felt like. And then also, like you said, I'm a provider type mentality person anyway. In most rooms, I'm mostly the leader all the time. That's just naturally how it happens. So in my own house, if I'm not that and I can feel it kind of, I saw it like kind of slipping away because it was more conversations where I make this decision because now she has to pay those things. She making the decision.
I'm paying this bill.
Yeah. So a little more, I hate to say it like this, but it is what it is. A little more like talk back that I was getting from her. Yeah. Like I make a decision about something and now she always has to interject about something else. Bro, we were at odds about that, bro.
When that moment actually happened for me as well, too. Like I was with the person that I was with the longest. I actually saw a change in her demeanor. I always had, I'm like an educator, and I taught one to make six figures by tattooing. So her demeanor changed once she got there.
She started getting home early.
Yeah, she started getting home early, but she still stayed true to this. But the other one's demeanor didn't change when it came to money. It changed when she saw the things that other one was allowed to get away with because she
influences
money. That's a real thing.
So
money, power, influence.
Like it's like a dynamic that changed. Like you said, they talk back. She was like, "Well, you let such and such talk to you like that."
Let's just say money.
Yeah, such and such got that money.
Such a
When times get hard, such and such is like, here
you go.
Put that onto the bill. This, that, and the third. It's like.
Well, that goes into the concept of like these athletes. If anybody knows any professional athletes,
I tattoo them all the time.
There you go.
And personal.
They will tell you.
My guy.
They will tell you because they make money, they can almost get away with murder when it comes to relationships.
100%. You see it in real life.
And
seen it.
And it's the reason because many times as men are persuaded behind relationships, sexual gestures, things like that. Women are many times persuaded around the lifestyle and the money that can provide. And so the more that you have one or the other, Kevin Sam used to talk about it all the time. Like women many times control access to relationships, sex, things like that. Men control access to the finances. So many times whenever a man is making buku amounts of money, he can almost get away with anything that he wants. Versus let's say for instance, that all that money goes away.
You see the
demeanor changes. He is now held to a standard, right? He is now held to a standard, and now you must operate within the lines and boundaries of what that looks
Bro,
like.
that was my household. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm a straight shooter. We had this conversation, we talked through therapy, and she still mad about it when you go back. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
It brings it down. Like it literally brings it down to that point.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it myself. I've seen myself. I had a shop here, lost the shop. And it's crazy because I'm not saying for everyone, so nobody don't try to jump over it.
Black folks say,
Right. We don't, as men, we can see a woman at her worst and we still work through it with her. We still keep reaching down and pulling up and reaching down and pulling up, but we got a time span.
You can be got a clock
for this amount of time, brother, before you got to get stuff straight because you ain't gonna come in here and be like, oh, I want some. And you ain't got none in your pocket. Like, you gonna literally don't you got better things you could be doing, like applying for jobs or something? You gonna be like,
you constantly on that pressure cooker. And that's what I felt. Like, It was constantly like, man, honestly, it was just, the money was rolling, I could kind of do what I wanted to do. And I'm a respectful guy, so I'm always in respect, but I could still move how I wanted to move. If you called me randomly and was like, hey, bro, I just need you on this podcast, but me and her had a dinner.
I'm gonna
go to the podcast. She ain't even gonna trip. Go get that bread. The porcelain. He just be on the podcast. Talk about some. Is there some money coming in behind that? Because man, hey, I'm gonna need you here. And it was like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
This other aspect of it too. Their parents entrusted you to take care of their baby.
For sure.
So everybody's cool with it at first, like, yeah, my boy, he on hard times right now. When that first month turns into 3 months, turns into 6 months, they don't really care that the economy is bad, or also that you've been an entrepreneur your whole life. So I don't even know how to do corporate stuff no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They not figuring. They like at this point, you start seeing the conversations kind of either start to fade away, or the conversations are now less getting my opinion on something and more talking at me. Well, maybe you should do this. Or maybe you should do that. I mean, anybody know my demeanor, it ain't gonna work well with me.
Right. Sometimes you just gonna naturally start pulling back when you don't feel the energy is the same.
Feel it off. You understand what I'm saying?
You're not doing what we said we were gonna hold ourselves accountable for, whether it's unspoken or said. We entered an agreement. And in most cases too, relationships work better when you are teammates.
Yeah.
Like people don't get it, you know what I'm saying? And like I don't know if it comes off good or not, but like women, since they're nurturers, like even more so a helpmate because they can, you plant a seed, they gonna make that go crazy.
Right. Especially if you pick the right one.
I think people have different talents, right? And some of those, many times, those intangible talents are just so happen to go into what a role or a gender role looks like. And I know the gender role is the trigger word that gets a lot of people, but roles have always been around for hundreds of years, and they're healthy. They're helpful because it gives you a black and white understanding of what you want to be. Why is it that you have a role at your job, but you don't have a role in your household?
Facts.
Yeah.
Like, there should be a clear understanding of what your role is in your household. Now, if something happens in life to where that role has to change, there's a conversation that happens within the relationship. But many times people like to have roles whenever they're driving down the road. You have a license, so that means that you have to operate a vehicle under a certain standard.
Right.
You have a role at your job. You must perform these job duties, even as a tattoo artist and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, you know that you have to have certain health and safety measures in place, or you ain't got no shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have black and white laws and policies and state and health department, all those things that you have to follow, whether you like it or not. You don't have no say-so in that. It's certain things in life that you just cannot control, right? And it's like, but we understand that when it comes to work, but when it comes to relationships, that completely goes out of our mind.
Because emotion and ego is involved.
Emotion and ego are involved.
If the health inspector walks into your shop, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. What do you need? How can I help you? You know, yes, here's this paperwork. That's cool. When it gets to the house and let's say one of your girlfriends or my wife or your wife or whomever asks you for something, you have an attitude with it whenever it's just an objective question or answer that you can ask. So like that segues, as we wrap things up, that segues us into communication. So many times I want to just understand, like, what are you all's communication styles in your relationships? Because many times whenever you're talking about healthy relationships, it's many times centered around how you communicate with that individual.
Yeah.
Is it a direct communication? Is it a raising of your tone? Is it a monitoring of your tone? Is it not having conversations first thing in the morning when that person wakes up because you know they're not a morning person?
Yeah.
You know, how do you, Salim, let's start with you. How do you communicate most effectively in the morning? Or not in the morning, in general, in your relationship?
In general. I think I'm learning that now with Jasmine now because things are changing. This is what it is. Before, I didn't have a conversation whenever. Like I said, that money was good. What you want to talk about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't talk in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Now it's cool. I'm just making my adjustments, right? Because also, I'm a logical brain too, bro. Look, at the end of the day, for me to be a better communicator, to get my point across, it's always about how can I get whatever I'm trying to get out of this thing, regardless. People think that's a bad thing to think about it, but I'm not. If she don't want to talk in the morning, I just, okay, cool. We're going to talk right after you do your little face routine or whatever, you know, that type of thing. So I think it's just how I, basically to answer your question, how I do communication with any relationship. I understand that person when it's more effective for me to get my point across in the time of day or how they would like it to be brought about. Like with Jasmine, I have to be very monotone. My voice cannot raise a certain projective. If not, she has this thing where she shuts down, right? And I understand that. Previous girls beforehand, call it what you want, they get turned on talking louder to them. You know what I'm saying? So now I've changed this dynamic. When I'm speaking with my brother, who's also my business partner, it's a very much iron sharpens iron type of vibe. If I talk to him more in a low tone, Mark will be like, man, he ain't feeling what he even telling me right now. I'm not listening to it. When I'm talking to him, like, hey, bro, we got to get this done to the runner problem. He's more inclined. Right. And then with my mother, it just depends on her. It's my mom. So it just depends on like what time of day it is. You know, she just came from church. She's in the more like Zen, praise the Lord type vibe. So I can kind of be joking with her. But if it's like regular day and my mom's a shaker and a mover, I kind of got to be like, hey, mom, real quick, let me holler at you about da-da-da-da. That's right. So I think it's, to answer your question, I know it's long, but to answer your question, it's based off of who I'm actually presenting to. Right. And that's how I communicate.
And understanding who they are so that you can get your point across.
Absolutely.
And achieve what you want to achieve.
And me being able to adjust to that. And for some reason, I think that's a skill. Right. Because I'm able to adjust my tone.
You do the same thing at work.
All the time.
Right. You have to do the same thing. You like, even Cam, we're going to get your perspective, but you probably have to do the same thing with your clients. Like you're not going to have the same type of conversations with all your clients. You're not going to have the same, some of your clients may come to you for X amount of years. There's more rapport established with that. But when it comes down to the diverse relationships that you have, whether it's your poly relationships or your relationship with your parents, siblings, whomever, what is typically your approach to your communication style?
I'm learning with my actual relationship now, like he said. Now, since having a daughter, I've changed.
That's what they say.
I've changed. When I say I've changed, bro, like I used to be at work, no matter where I was an enforcer. Like I was like, we need to have this done. We need to have it done now. And I didn't care about my tone. I didn't care about my approach. Long as we was making money, I was always about money. Like it was no matter what, we gonna make this money around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for that because it's got me to this point. But in my relationship, I was the same way. Wasn't making money if it wasn't making it. I used to fuss at everybody for being on TikTok in the house. Like, yo, why are y'all on TikTok? It's 10 o'clock. We need to be thinking about what we doing tomorrow, how we making money, this, that, and the third. Like, and the call. Right. Like, I'm talking about come downstairs just raising. Like, if people sleep too late in the morning,
that gets me.
Steve Harvey was woken at 6 o'clock. We need to be making money. Like, he said, we don't need to sleep 6 hours. Like, I'm telling everybody, everything I've heard, any podcast, everything.
You know what I love what both of y'all saying? That you have to adjust. And that's like what I think the thing is about communication. My biggest thing about communication that I've learned is that comprehension is just as important. So I have to make sure that when we have like a back and forth about a little bicker or whatever, I'm like, do you understand what I said? Do you understand do I understand what you said?
Right.
It has to be comprehension on both
there's
sides.
a teach back.
There's teach back. Then it was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta watch how
you can't say that.
Do you understand what I say? They're like, oh.
So both of you all three of you all have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have one. There's soon.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Yeah,
brother.
man.
It's gonna
So
switch.
change it.
So how have you now changed your level of communication now that before a daughter and now?
Okay, so now I've gotten to the point that I've had to understand each partner. Like I literally had to sit there and understand each partner.
Is it that your daughter slows you down, and you watch how your tone and how you react to her?
Your daughter makes you build this sense of patience because unlike a relationship, your daughter, like if your relationship ended, y'all just gonna part ways. Your daughter's gonna look up to you for the rest of her life.
Right.
Her husband and the person that she's with, she's going to go off with the things, the morale, the way that you moved with her mother, even if you're not with her mother, the way that you moved around her mother and things that she sees with her mother, that's how your daughter will move. So if you're sitting there, like I know like the pinpoints of each one of my relationships. Like I know with my girlfriend Bug, like I can't yell at her because she's never had a man yell at her in her family. Her granddad didn't yell at her dad didn't yell at her. So if I yell at her, it will make her emotional and she will go upstairs and cry. And so I can't do that. The other one, she's used to being yelled at with her parents. So therefore, if I yell at her, she just gonna yell back. And then my fire child, like, it's gonna go there, like, because she wasn't raised with a dad and she was raised with her mom. So like, and she's a Scorpio. So if we fuss, it's gonna be an argument, and everybody in the next couple of houses gonna hear it. Right? So I've learned my tones and things I can say, and things that I would say that probably I wouldn't think that was OD can be OD. Like, that actually hurt.
Our tolerance of what is extreme is different from what a woman's tolerance of extreme.
But safe to say that softened you, right?
But it'd be crazy because you be seeing how they be talking to each other, and you be like, y'all be saying some crazy stuff. But
it's like a white person saying the N-word.
I can say it, but you can't say it. That type of vibe. Now that's fact.
Your daughter brings a level of understanding to you that you never understood until, because this is the person, like, but I can't really explain it, but the way that your daughter looks at you, like, my sister we weren't raised with our dad, but my sister to this day is still a daddy's girl. Like, and I'm looking, because me and my brother, like,
girl, we was there for you.
My dad, this, that, and the third. Like, I don't know, like, dad, blah, 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 blah. But when my sister is, like, so we like, what?
Yeah, you understand the vibe.
So you get it, and everyone says, oh, you're going to get softer, you're going to become this, that, and the third. So yes, you become more patient, you understand. even when you're not patient with your daughter and your girlfriend looks at you like she's a child, she's your daughter, and you go, forgot about it.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, my daughter, you're a big mirror. Like she showed, like my raised that are same, very militant. You know what I'm saying? My father was like that. Our whole household was like very much sports background, all that kind of stuff. So it was that thing. But when Noni came into our lives, like it's a mirror, bro. You not. I mean, like I'm the king of my household, like I'm the leader of the household. But bro, that doesn't mean that I have to be this tyrant. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And so she, like you said, to me, she slowed me down, let me process my emotions, if I'm being honest with you, and being able to articulate myself in a kind, more empathetic way. That's what my daughter has done for me, far from a communication standpoint, which has actually helped me, because she's 2 now, so it's helped me in business in other fields as well. Like kind of that way of me able to, I can get the deal done, but do it in a nice way where I'm not basically like, bro, I just put Brother now under, the chokehold to make sure we got it done. Like, nah, it's not that. It's more so
more
like
charismatic.
More charismatic. Yeah, got that charisma aspect of it, right? And I think
because you're negotiating with a 2-year-old.
I'm negotiating with a 2-year-old. That's a fact. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Me negotiating with a 2-year-old has actually made me be able to better in negotiating with my wife. If I'm being honest with you, because my daughter's so frantic when she's upset. She's like my son, he took my toy and she's like freaking out. Man, I'm not calling my wife a 2-year-old, but in some cases when things happen with my wife, she's frantic. So I'm making this assumption that this is an adult. She should know how to like bring her, her emotions down, but she doesn't. And that's just being real. She doesn't. So my daughter has helped me with my communication with my wife. Like, okay, she just needed time. Let her do her thing. Come in at this aspect instead of being so logical about it, have this empathetic, sweet tone about it, but still get this point across. You understand what I'm saying?
I received few homeboys over the last 6 months have like said the same thing, where we talking and they hit me up specifically about that. It's like that they feel like that's the reaction they feel whenever they're going through a high pressure situation with their woman. And sometimes how a woman may react. And sometimes you may feel like that mirrors like a certain thing that you may have saw in a niece or a nephew or a child or whatever it may be. And that's a way that you can like enact what you would do with them.
I do that every day.
Yeah. Because it's like you make it feel a little, if your daughter is like having like a little panic attack because somebody took her toy, you can't go to her high pressure, high stress as well.
Why you crying?
Because it makes it worse. So like that's the same way we can interact with our women, is in a soft tone of, okay, look, calm down. What's going on? Okay, you finally tell me what's going on. All right, cool. Let's break this down. Right. How can we get you what you want?
But still be very direct.
Yeah, that's taught me to be to daughter. Like, also, you have to be like proactive instead of like reactive. Like, just don't react off of everything.
Don't react.
Like, and it helps you calm down because you have to listen. Just like you said, your daughter get frantic. Now I know that they're going to cry and I'm like, I got to wait this out.
Yeah, I got to wait it out.
So now I'm going to wait this out. And like when it comes to relationships with an adult, it's like, okay, I got to wait this out because she don't cry.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to come back. Maybe I need to sit here, but it gives me time to breathe.
And it also shows us that we don't always need to respond immediately.
Exactly.
Very much so.
I don't want to meet that energy right there and like bring it down even lower.
Sometimes we think we're so logical that every moment needs logic.
Yeah.
But
that's a bar.
That's it right there.
And it really doesn't.
That's we make everything. We make that's our main problem.
Our problem solution. What's the next? We're here, but how we fix this?
Yeah.
I want to solve it.
Me and my wife have had like conversations and stuff like that and debates and back and forth, and it's like, she's like, I don't need you to give me answers. I just need you to
hear. But you can't help. I just need you to be here right now. And she said, I literally look like this is what I'm doing. I'm fixing the problem.
Also, we feel like
they don't want the problem fixed.
We feel like, right now, this is so stupid and simple right now. I can fix this. Like, I don't want it fixed.
We still gotta grow in that space.
Or we hit this. Well, I told you that was gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
I never got to tell me you told me so right there.
That makes him mad, actually.
I'm talking about
It's worse.
serious. Like,
No.
if it's something that they know, because one, they don't even want to come to you because they know you told them already.
You got all the answers. Though.
Right, you
I
think-
wasn't going to say hard.
I got most of them, though. Like, I told
I
you.
just want to help you. I don't need your help.
It don't come off as help, and it's weird because us as men will get upset when they say, I've heard this plenty of times. Well, I talked to such and such, and they say I need to do this, that, and the third, and I'll be like, for real, they said that? I said, you know who else said that? I said that 3 weeks ago. I said, but it sounded better. They got a different delivery than you have. They made it sound more interesting.
I bet you said it in a nice tone like this too, didn't you?
Yeah.
But it's just taking difference.
Yeah.
Taking, just like us with our parents. Like I've been in that where my dad told me some real dope perspective. Then one of my friends or one of my cousins said, and I'm like, so-and-so told me.
You be like,
He's like, man, I told you that. I didn't listen.
A little bit different with you, man.
but now that's real, man. Like I love the conversation, man, because of how we communicate in relationships is a mirror of our reality. And so we must master like tone, delivery, timing. Even when you were talking about, how when you communicate with your wife, like we have these managers and these VPs and these supervisors and these health folks, and what time you be like, I'm gonna call such and such. I'm gonna send them an email at 11 o'clock.
Not when you're going to lunch.
Now when it's the same. It's the same. Or you're not gonna call them at 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Time to get off.
When it's time to get off.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing we must apply in our relationships is to learn emotional intelligence, when to do, when not to do, managing our tone, and really focusing on when is the best time to communicate. And also, too, making sure that we're earners in our relationships, making sure that we're always working to be better. The people around us are better. And we're just overall just focused on creating and growing that community, no matter how that looks.
And men all make a safe space. Make safe space. That's their favorite word.
And you do create that. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's words, like even if it's like a word that they should use, like where you don't abuse the word, but if it's a time that you really need me just to sit back and just listen, shut up and listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Create that space to where you feel like, okay, you need it, because fellas, you may not know whenever you need that.
Yeah.
You never know whenever that time.
Yeah.
You create a safe word.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was
Pineapples, I'm telling you.
I'm like, do I even want a safe word in the house? I'm glad he said abuse because I know they're gonna abuse.
Yeah. You already know.
It's gonna be a shut up word. Like, pineapples. I'm like,
Okay, we in this moment right now. You're going to sit.
That's good facts. Nah,
So, man,
that's good.
That's good, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, no doubt.
I gotta go eat. Don't leave hang, cuz.
oh,
That's a good one, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Healthy relationships are earned, not given.
Absolutely.
But that was good.
For my brothers never had an ear to hear 'em. These the bricks for our sisters help us build it. If I could be a black fly on the wall, I can hear and see it all and have the mind of a god. Black, 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 black. Fly, 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 fly. Black, black, black.